in the very beginning, I'll go through a line of questioning with them. One of the big questions is obviously, what's your value proposition? And they'll go through and say, well, we offer retirement services, we help them pick insurance plans. And I'll say, stop. I'll cut them off. Say, what are you fighting for? Okay, that's your value proposition. What is the pain points of your target audience? What are they struggling with? And how are you advocating on their behalf? What are you fighting for? And I get a totally better answer when a potential client approaches me. A lot of them don't think they're newsworthy, and that's why they never had looked into PR in the past. But then they'll see some of their colleagues, people that they met at a conference, going on CNBC or getting mentioned in the Wall Street Journal. And they're like, wait, if that guy can do it, I should be able to do it.
Yes.
And then that's when they find me and call me. And that's what gets the conversation started. So no, I mean, the first thing I tell them is, yes, if you have an opinion on something, if you're an expert in your field on any particular subject matter, if you've hired people, if you have anniversaries coming up, if you've set up office space, any of the above, you're newsworthy. You just need to know who to communicate that to and how to communicate that to them. Absolutely. So that's the first challenge that we encounter. There's 7 big ones that I look at, and Jim, I'm sure you've got your own definitions, and yours probably looks a lot like mine.
Probably.
We might label things a little bit differently, but I would imagine we're pretty much on the same page.
We are simpatico in a lot of ways, Brian.
First off, there's timeliness. Timeliness is huge. If you pay attention to news cycles these days, things don't stay in the news very long. Whereas a certain type of, local story might have been a full week or a multi-week story, these days it might just get a day or two.
Yeah.
And they're moving on. News cycles happen quick because we have things like Twitter out there where news breaks instantly. And it's a race to cover it as quickly as possible. Sometimes that doesn't result in the best journalism, but that's the atmosphere that we're in right now.
Right. That's what we have to deal with.
Yep, absolutely.
We can only change so much.
Proximity is a big one. Especially, earlier we were talking about local media versus regional media versus national media. Proximity is everything. A big story in Philadelphia might not be a big story in Boston.
Sure.
If it's happening in Philadelphia. Now, if it's a big enough story that's getting national attention, sure. It could get regional coverage all over the country. But proximity is a big deal. I mean, that's a factor that you've got to look at when you're coming up with story angles.
I agree.
Impact. Does it impact the audience? Is it something that they care about? Does it impact their lives?
Yeah. And what audience is it impacting? That's the other factor there. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Prominence. Are there big names? Are there big brands? Is Elon Musk in the headline?
Is he one of your investors?
I love writing about Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Because every time I write about Elon Musk, I always get a lot of clicks. That name itself is clickbait.
I love it. That's a great point.
But, does it have recognizable names that makes a difference? Oddity. Is it weird?
That's one I often overlook, but yeah, that is a good one.
Yeah. Is it weird? Is it bizarre? Is it, funny? That oddity element can absolutely result in news coverage.
It's very true.
Relevance. Is it relevant to the community in mind?
Okay. That makes sense.
And then conflict. Conflict's a big one. And conflict is where PR people got to be careful.
Yep.
But is there some sort of disagreement? I mean, this is why bad news sometimes gets a lot of coverage, or ugly news.
What is one key thing you want people to take out of our conversation today? If you were to sum it up, what's one key note?
Yeah, key takeaway is you are newsworthy, but you need to understand how newsworthiness works. So hopefully you got a lot out of this conversation. Some people naturally understand how the news cycle works. Others don't. Others have challenges. Others, again, have trouble distinguishing it from advertising and get frustrated when they think they're doing something really cool and the media just seems that they don't care.
Yeah.
Or if somebody knows that they're one of the smartest people on the planet when it comes to a very niche topic, and they don't understand why nobody wants to talk to them. Or if you're having trouble breaking through, that's when you talk to somebody like Jim or me, and we can certainly listen to your story. We're going to push you a little bit, like Jim said, play a little bit of investigative reporter to really get down to the newsworthy components of your story. Then we help you build out that messaging and we take it to the right people. That's another big thing. If you've got the right message, but you're sending it to the wrong people in the media, you're not going to get a response.
Absolutely.
And most business owners have a million things to do. They don't have time to understand the anatomy of a newsroom. That's our job. We know how they work. We know the right people to contact for the right stories. So if you need help getting that message out, go get help.